A common mistaken mindset many people have is believing they must do everything alone to prove their strength and resilience. They think asking for help is a sign of weakness or failure. Because of this, they stubbornly shoulder all burdens themselves, from small tasks to life's biggest challenges. However, they don't realize that this stubbornness is actually one of the biggest barriers blocking their path to their dreams. When they refuse to open up and accept support, the road to success becomes longer, harder, and sometimes leaves them exhausted halfway through. The truth is, no one can go far alone. Everyone has limits in strength, time, and ability. Recognizing those limits and being willing to ask for help is a courageous act, not a sign of weakness. It's the first step to building connections, finding companions, and opening doors to success. Success comes not only from individual effort, but also from the combined support of many willing hands. David is a 23-year-old young man living in a peaceful small village where most people farm. Life there is simple, but full of challenges. Unlike others, David chose to become a carpenter, a skill he learned from his late father. Although young, he already owns a small carpentry workshop where he personally builds tables and chairs, repairs old furniture, serving customers who often bargain for low prices. Despite hard work and an income barely enough for basic needs like food and firewood, David never stops dreaming. During quiet evenings, he often sits by the small window overlooking distant hills, harboring a great ambition. One day, he will open a large furniture store where people from everywhere come to buy products made by his own hands. Despite hardships and doubts from others, David remains steadfast and tirelessly works to gradually turn his dream into reality. Although David works diligently every day, his life remains full of hardship. From dawn to late night, he builds chairs, fixes tables, attends customers, and handles countless unnamed tasks in his small workshop. Yet, after all, the money he earns is just enough to buy bread, some soup, and firewood for winter. He doesn't complain, but the truth is all his efforts seem only to maintain a precarious life without bringing him closer to his dream. Every time he tries to save money to invest in the future, something happens. A leaking roof, broken tools, or his mother falling ill, needing medicine. Unexpected expenses keep piling up, pushing the dream of opening a big furniture store further away. Some villagers even mock him, saying he shouldn't dream when he can't even afford good wood. But despite being belittled and facing many challenges, David never gives up his aspiration to reach farther. One day, David's first big opportunity arrived when a man named Mr. Aziz, a wealthy and experienced merchant known for his sharp eye, visited his small workshop. Impressed by David's craftsmanship and meticulousness, he ordered a large dining table and gave David 1 week to complete it. This was the biggest order David had ever received, with an attractive payment. He saw this as a turning point to get closer to his dream. However, by the third day, David ran into trouble. He ran out of wood. When he went to the supplier, he learned the price had doubled due to the approaching winter. With the money he had, David could only buy half the needed wood. He dared not ask Mr. Aziz for more money, fearing he'd lose credibility. He also tried borrowing from a villager named Wed, but only got a mocking laugh and a refusal. Under pressure from work and financial worry, David began to question whether pursuing this dream was foolish. Unwilling to ask for help or give up, David decided to find his own way. He remembered the small folding chairs he had made in his spare time, simple but sturdy and attractive. The next morning, he packed some chairs and took a bus to the city, hoping someone would buy them. It was a risky journey because if he sold nothing, he wouldn't even have money to return home. In a small corner of the bustling market, he set up a simple table as his stall. All morning, no one noticed him or his modest chairs. But by noon, a wealthy woman happened to pass by. She stopped, examined closely, and praised David's skill. In the end, she bought all the chairs. With that money, David could buy the missing wood and return to the village overjoyed. Once again, his determination and risk-taking helped him overcome a challenge without relying on anyone else. With the money earned from the city trip, David bought enough wood and returned to finish Mr. Aziz's dining table. He worked tirelessly, paying careful attention to every detail. On the due date, the table was delivered on time and exceeded expectations. Mr. Aziz was very pleased. not only paying fully but also praising David as a talented and persistent young carpenter. From then on, word spread far and wide. News of David's skill reached neighboring villages. Many started placing orders, and his small workshop became busier than ever. Soon, a businessman from the city, having heard the news, came to meet David. He ordered 10 high-end dining tables, requiring completion within 1 month, an unprecedented large order. The payment was substantial enough to change David's life. Although it was a wonderful opportunity, the workload was huge, the deadline tight, materials expensive, and David had no support. Still, he decided to accept, believing this was the real turning point to make his dream come true. To fulfill the big order from the city businessman, David needed a large amount of high-quality wood, which cost a lot. His savings were insufficient and the order couldn't be missed. After many sleepless nights, he made a painful decision to sell his gold watch, the last keepsake from his late father. The watch was not only valuable, but symbolized the love and trust his father had for him. Standing in the gold shop, handing over the keepsake, tears quietly fell on David's cheeks. But he knew that to go further, sometimes sacrifices must be made. With the money obtained, David bought all the necessary materials and started working. Day after day, he worked from dawn till late night with almost no rest. He skipped meals, had interrupted sleep, cracked hands, and headaches. The villagers were worried. They advised him to stop, but David just smiled and kept working. In his heart, there was only one thought. Completing this order was the door bringing him closer to his great dream. In the final days of the project, David was clearly exhausted. Dark circles under his eyes, swollen hands, and the last table kept failing due to a small flaw in the wood. Stress and fatigue nearly overwhelmed him. One late afternoon, his mother entered the workshop and found her son sitting silently, head bowed over the workbench, face pale from lack of sleep. She gently came beside him, placed her hand on his shoulder, and spoke in a warm voice. "My son, I know you're trying hard for your dream. I'm proud of your perseverance. But if you don't take care of your health, all the success you achieve will be meaningless." David looked up, eyes red. He choked out, "I just want to prove I can do it, that I can overcome poverty." His mother smiled, wiped the sweat from his forehead, and softly said, "You've proven so much already, but don't forget, a long journey can't be made on tired feet alone. You need to learn to rest and accept help." Those words deeply touched David's heart. After that heartfelt talk with his mother, David sat silently thinking for a long time. For the first time in his life, he truly faced the truth that no matter how strong the will is, one person cannot bear everything alone. The next day, he decided to do something he had never thought of before: ask for help. At first, he felt a bit shy and worried, but surprisingly, when he shared his story, neighbors from old to young were all willing to lend a hand. Some helped with labor, some contributed wood, others helped paint or sand. Everyone worked happily and united. Thanks to them, the tables were finished on time, even better than expected. The city businessman was very satisfied and paid fully as promised. With that money, David expanded his workshop, bought new tools, and hired some young men in the village. But more importantly, he learned a valuable lesson. Hard work is necessary, but knowing how to open up and share is the key to turning dreams into lasting realities. After successfully completing the large order with the support of the village, David received a considerable sum from the city businessman. He used the money not only to upgrade and expand his small carpentry workshop, but also to hire several men from the village, forming a passionate and close-knit team. The workshop grew, orders increased, and David's name spread throughout the region. However, the most important thing for him was not just material success, but the profound lesson he gained from the journey. David realized that to achieve great dreams, effort alone is not enough. Knowing when to ask for help, being willing to share and cooperate with others is the key to sustainable success. From his initial stubborn independence, he became someone who knew how to open his heart, appreciate, and connect with the community. The dream of expanding his furniture store was no longer distant, but gradually becoming reality thanks to the power of cooperation. You are watching the video on YouTube Tales Unfold.